Hey everyone, welcome to Uncomplicate by Freshworks, where we answer one question every day with one expert. In case you're listening to this on YouTube or any other channel, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. So today I have Jake, who's going to answer something very interesting. But before that, hey Jake, welcome to Uncomplicate by Freshworks.
Thanks for having me on here.
Awesome. So Jake, for those of you who are not active on LinkedIn, is a LinkedIn superstar, and he has some actionable tips on increasing leads, or rather generating leads from LinkedIn. So if you're a salesperson, I think this one is the perfect one for you. So Jake, what have you got for us?
Yeah, so in this I'll just give you guys a quick, just the 5-minute how to actually generate leads on LinkedIn and how to do LinkedIn outreach in an effective way that is not spammy and not annoying, which there's a lot of that out there. I've learned this from, we've run over 250 campaigns at my company for LinkedIn outreach. So we've figured out a lot of things that work and we see a lot of things that don't work. So when you get into doing LinkedIn outreach, basically what I'm talking about is using LinkedIn as a platform to reach out to your target prospects and try to start a conversation that you can then move to email or phone or video so that you can then make a sale. And I'll first hit on that of just the realization that the goal of LinkedIn is not to make a sale on LinkedIn. Your goal is to get them into a phone call. And I think this is a first step where people mess up is they get on LinkedIn and then you accept a connection request and you receive this gigantic, super long pitch and people just zone out and never talk to you again. So that's what we don't want to do. So instead what we do want to do, here's a few kind of steps on how to actually do LinkedIn effective. First, you want to optimize your profile before you start your campaign. There's a ton of stuff you can do, but here's the two most important things. One is you want to make your headline, instead of saying, president, CEO, whatever it is, VP of sales, instead of just like putting your title there, which is what LinkedIn will default it to if you don't put anything, you want to create kind of a benefit-oriented headline. So, I help B2B companies generate leads on LinkedIn through done-for-you LinkedIn prospecting. So that's kind of roughly what mine is. And so you want just kind of a tagline, think of it like the headline of a blog post that's going to hook someone into your profile. The other thing you want to do is you want to convert your profile from being, a resume style about all of the great accomplishments you have and where you went to college, and you want to think about it more like a website that is talking about what your company is, who you serve, and how you help people. And so really kind of taking it from more resume style, which is what LinkedIn started as, to almost more of like a sales page style is the next big shift. So a ton of stuff you can do there, but those are the two most optimal optimizations you can make on your LinkedIn profile. After that, you're going to want to basically get LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is a paid version of their tool. But in order to really do this at volume or to really filter really well, you'll want to upgrade to that. You can definitely test it out on free, but you're going to be pretty limited in terms of the amount of connections and that you can send and the amount of targeting you can do. But there's a ton of information out there about how to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator, so I'm not going to get into the details, but I've got videos online and articles on our site where we basically show you really deep how to use all the filtering criteria. So there's a ton to go into there, but I would definitely look into just how to use Sales Navigator and just learn like the power of those filters. You can get super targeted and say, I want VPs of marketing in Miami that work at manufacturing companies that have, 50 to 200 employees. Like you can get so narrow and specific. And that's one of the most powerful things about LinkedIn versus a lot of other platforms. So once you've got your list in Sales Navigator, then really simply, you're going to basically send first a connection request. Just kind of showing, again, being casual. You're not going to make a sale, but you're just going to reach out, say, hey, saw you're in a similar industry, or hey, thought your company looked really intriguing. We work with a lot of similar companies, would love to connect. So something not super salesy, but you're going to show some intent that there is like a sales conversation coming. So you're not just going to try to catch them totally off guard. And then whenever someone accepts a connection request that you send them, you can then send a multi-step drip sequence over the course of really about the next month. So we'll sometimes do up to 4 messages total over the course of the next month. And the biggest thing to know with like LinkedIn is it's very different than a cold email. Cold email, you write a lot of stuff. With LinkedIn, like honestly, the short and sweet is really what most often gets responses. So hey, we create content for consultants, help them to turn them into thought leaders. Would you be interested in talking more? Like that's one of the questions I'm using right now for my content agency. And really, really simple, straightforward, but it gets people responded and say, hey, yeah, I'm interested. Let's hop on a call. Or you might ask like a probing question, or what are your thoughts about this happening in the industry? Or you might offer a case study. A common resource we have is, say, a marketing agency has done really, really well. A case study for someone in a niche. They say, hey, got a case study on how I accomplished, how we generated $1 million of business for this client that's just like you. The case study shows exactly how we did it. Would you like me to send it to you? So there's a handful of different approaches, but the goal is keep it short on LinkedIn. It's not like the window that people read this in, or they're reading it on their phone. So it's almost like you're texting them as opposed to emailing them. So keep it short and sweet, and just try to get them to respond and engage. Don't make the sale on LinkedIn. Just get that response, and then you take it from there and move it on to a conversation or to email or some other medium.
Okay, awesome. I think my favorite tip from this whole conversation was, how to treat your LinkedIn profile like a website, not as a resume. So I think by doing that itself is gonna, kind of multiply not just your profile visits, but also the number of people who are gonna converse with you, right? So thank you for joining us today, Jake. It was a pleasure talking to you. Until I see you next time, this is Praveen signing off.